Good morning, everybody. I am Nick Slavik. I'm the proprietor of the Nick Slavik Painting and Restoration Company. I'm also the host of this show, Ask a Painter Live. I have said that 260 times every single week for the last 5 years. This is a show where I use my almost 3 decades of experience now to answer any questions you have. Today is a very special show. This is my 5th anniversary show. This is show 260, which means 52 weeks, every single week, without missing one. For 5 years, I've broadcasted this show. The only time I believe that I did not go genuinely live was when I did a float plane trip to the wilderness of Canada, and there was no humans, no electricity, no nothing. I pre-recorded a show and had somebody else post it for me at the time. I believe that is the only time I have not genuinely gone true live. So we're going to have some very special people to me on the show today to reminisce, talk about some stuff. I got some very interesting stats, little interesting tidbits about the Ask a Painter show we're going to share along the way. We're not going to waste any time. We are going to get to the person who started it all with me. All right, countdown begins. Mr. Chris Shank will appear on the screen. There he is.
Woo! What's up?
Man, listen, Chris Shank, people have no idea that 5 years ago, so you were involved with the Painting and Decorating Contractors Association. I didn't know what that was. You knew me, our wives knew each other before we even before we got connected with painting. And correct me if any part of this story was wrong, but they were sort of Instagram friends. And then you got a job in the painting industry and you sort of like, oh, wait, I know this one dude who's a house painter. Let's just talk to him. And that was kind of where it all started. Yes.
Yeah, it was truly amazing. I knew nothing about the painting industry. And I was like, I know this guy, though, that I think he paints or something. He has a business. I knew you were like really sharp as a business owner. I was really impressed with that. But I didn't know the ins and outs of like what it meant to own a business or what it meant to own a business in the painting industry. So yeah, I was starting this job that was really a random fit, but it was a fit with my education programming skills. Yeah. And so I just reached out. Do you remember it was like, I sent you an email at the end of the night and I was like, I'm going for an interview tomorrow. I'm sure you won't be able to answer this. I want to know, what do business owners in the painting industry look for? What do you guys want? And then you answered at like 4 a.m. or something like that. And I was like, dude, and you sent like a page and a half. And I said, dude, it was so helpful. It was so insightful. I was like, I bring that to the interview. Probably got me the job. I don't know. And I never forgot. I was just like, this guy knows the needs of painting contractors. And I was super impressed with your social media. So you have always been on social media. You had Ask a Painter going on YouTube, I think it was before. And you were always like super social media savvy. So we first brought you in to show people how to do it, how do you get more out there? Because that was a struggle for painting business owners to start posting pictures and get on Facebook and Instagram and all that stuff. But you were on the cutting edge and you were comfortable out in those waters. Yes. So that was the first stuff we brought you in, and it caught fire. It just caught fire.
What's really interesting is that, again, people see it now and they think this just started out of nowhere. A whole bunch of interesting things happened. I've been posting to Facebook and whenever Instagram showed up for 5 years before even Ask a Painter started. It was just me. I love this job. I love this craft. I would find something. I would take a picture. I would tell people why I love it. And it just kind of goes here and there. Interestingly enough, you were looking for educational content and some real gritty educational content. And you're like, hey, why don't you just show us a job site? We did. Within that same couple week period, Facebook created this live feature. Right. Yeah. So just like, hey, listen, I got a lot of reps. Nobody's better off the cuff than I am. So we just did live, and that sort of started it. That was sort of the genesis of this whole thing.
Yeah, I needed somebody game. I always say I love doing things with people who are game, and you are always, and I think people know this about you. If you have an idea, you're like, let's do it. And I happen to be that kind of fool too. So
what was really cool is that you were like I was like an untouched tribe in the Amazon, just doing my own thing, and you had an outlet. And you were like, oh my God, I am a documentary film crew. We found this weirdo doing his weird things all by himself, and you exposed me to the rest of it. So Thank you, Chris Shank. Also, very, very I've been going through the archive, looking at a whole bunch of old stuff, reminiscing. Very interesting. I'm going to see if we can get. We're going to try to break my internet and do this. There is a link to the first ever Ask a Painter live show here, and I believe this was even before there was an Ask a Painter live Facebook page. So, interestingly enough, I dug out my pair of overalls. I still use the same cup and everything. So this is now a little more gray in the beard 5 years later. Again, you're thinking about, I think I only had maybe 2 kids at the time, 4 kids now. So understandably, but the link to that actual show, the first show I ever did was on color. And I did what everybody did at that time on live. Do you remember this? When people would stare at the screen like this and they would for followers to get on first. Like, I'm gonna fire it up. As soon as we get some people here, we're gonna get going live. And then they'd sit here like this. And I was sipping my coffee. I'm looking around, trying to act natural for a couple seconds. And pretty soon you realize, like, no, once the camera goes, you just start talking. Like, you don't sit there and do dead air. So
dude, I remember all the little things, all the little like tricks of the trade. Like, here's my Nick Slavik cup. Had this since before your show started. Boom!
OG. Those are OG mugs.
Well, I remember you starting to sip your mug. I'm like, dude, signature. That's your thing. You sip your mug. And you were like, yeah. We didn't like. The cool thing is at the beginning, it was like all these little things. Like, I wonder if this could be the thing. I wonder if this could be the thing. And eventually it made its own thing. Like, people started responding en masse, and you were finding out what people connected to. And let me say this real quick. I know you got stuff you got to get to, but I think people connected to somebody who was really authentic, who wasn't trying to impress everybody with status, and just like, hey, you were honest about the things you knew. You were honest about the things you didn't know. I think you still are. People freaking love that. They just want somebody on the front lines who could say it like it is, and you're smart. Really, and I think people just ate that up, man. And there was nobody like it. There was nobody doing anything like this. They were doing stuff, but not like this.
Yeah. So the interesting tidbit I have for you, Chris Shank, is trivia. Crazy trivia thing here.
Okay.
Who was the first person to ever comment, if you had to guess, on an Ask a Painter live video?
Oh, man. I think Torlando was there early. Was it? Oh, I don't know. Torlando?
It was Chris Shank.
Oh.
It was Chris Shank. Chris Shank was the first person to ever comment on a live video, and I believe it was "Sup, man."
Oh yes,
dude! You can actually go back and see in real time when you watch the first Ask a Painter live video. I think you may have had the first 2 comments, but yours came up just like that. So that was really cool to see. Also, interestingly enough, I was compiling some stats because I wanted to, shock and awe people for this thing, because what my shows are not are 10 million views a piece, but nobody grits it out in the trenches more than me. I can do 1,000 views at a time for 5 years and accumulate. So interestingly enough, Facebook analytics doesn't even go back as far as Ask a Painter started. I can only get analytics for maybe 2 to 3 years. And in that 2 to 3 years, tidbits, data plus feelings, as we always do, Chris Shank, there has been in half of the shows, the last 2 to 3 years, 500,000 minutes viewed, 19,000 comments on the videos, and 8,000 people have followed just in the last 2 to 3 years. So if you extrapolate that out to all 5 years of it, it's basically 40,000 times people have interacted, did the thing that Chris Shank did, "Sup, man," on a comment in there. Probably a million times somebody has looked at an Ask a Painter video and maybe said, "F that guy," or maybe said, "Ooh, interesting. I should listen more." So it's pretty fun, man.
That is crazy, those numbers, dude. I mean, I guess I'm not surprised. I'm hearing it and I'm like, yeah, just because I see your stuff everywhere and I'm always like, it is amazing how far it's come and how many people, how many lives you've touched. I can't tell you how many people that I've talked to over the years, and they're like, they're new in the industry or they feel relatively unconnected in the industry. They say, "Oh yeah, I watched the Ask a Painter show." I'm like, "Oh my gosh, that's a connecting point." Like all of a sudden, I'm like, "I know Nick Slavik," So it is everybody's finding out, and the safe haven that Ask a Painter is for people trying to learn. I love it. I just read an article last night in Harvard Business Review that talked about one of the most important skills anybody could have is being a good learner. Like that's almost the best thing you could bring to any job. So you should be checking all your employees for, are they learning? What is their learning styles like? Whatever. And I think people feel safe to be a learner in your community. So that's a huge compliment right there.
Wow, man. Thanks a lot. And what's really interesting is that somebody told me that, when you're in this game that I'm in, this Ask a Painter world, you always get a little self-conscious that more people don't see it because there are 300,000 painting contractors in the US, and that's just painters. This applies to all trades. And you're like, well, why can't I just connect with more of these? Somebody told me, he says, listen, you dog whistle to a very certain segment of business owner, craftsperson, this and that, and the weird Venn diagram where they kind of meet like that. And you know what? That kind of focused my whole world. And it's like, yes, this is not probably for everybody, but for the people it is for, it is very special. So I like the show as a dog whistle for people like you and I, Chris Shank.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But there's a lot of people who are they want something real. They want something authentic. They don't want just the normal celeb influencers out there trying to make a name for themselves and let's keep it raw. Let's keep it gritty. Let's show what it's like on the front lines. Cause it's tough. Running a painting business is really tough. And so, yeah, I love your war room stuff. You have your war room trainings and the war room, like you're understanding that you got to bring a lot to the table and to the battles that you fight every day. So love it.
And Chris, you're first because you basically helped me get this thing going. You were the first person to ever comment on this. And a lot of this stuff, I mean, if honestly, when you think about this, if I had not have met Chris Shank, I probably would not know what the PCA is. And I may or may not be doing this. So interesting little bit of, it's one of those butterfly flicks its wings in Asia and the ripple effect goes through. It's one of those sort of, I'm not smart. You're the philosopher. You know what that is and whatever. But I feel like this is one of those things. You know what I mean? If our wives have never connected on Instagram, I may still be a single house painter on a farm right now. So
there's no telling. You were already on social media. You were already doing Ask a Painter. So yeah, butterfly effect. That's the greatest compliment anybody's ever given me. Call me a butterfly.
Well, Chris, thank you so much. We're going to queue up another guest here. That you would take a Saturday morning means a lot to me. And thank you for everything you've done for me over the years.
Absolutely. Congratulations. This has been awesome to watch. I'm excited to watch you progress further.
Thanks a lot, man. We'll see you soon.
Bye.
Okay, folks, here we go. I see Zach Kenny down in the batter's box. Zach, are you all right? Here he is. All right, the world famous Zacharias Kennedy. Is it Zachary or Zacharias? I've never asked you. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I just fancied it up for you. Zach, honestly, man, thank you for doing this. Thank you for taking time on a Saturday morning. Thank you for wearing a shirt with my face on it. It's, dude, listen, people should probably know the story behind that real quick aside, which is obviously being a passive aggressive, introverted, upper Midwesterner. I am very self-conscious about, promoting myself. It's a weird feeling coming from somebody like this. I would never in a million years give somebody a mug or a shirt with my face on it and say, hey, here's a gift for you with that. Titan, the sprayer company, I was doing a video project for them and their art department, the guy who actually made that, the skull, the respirator, the thing, he thought it was kind of a cool thing during this. He made that and he gave me a suite of those logos. So I feel fully okay handing out shirts with my face on it because somebody else made it. That feels very good to me. So thanks a lot, Zach.
I can understand that because I'm literally right now as we speak, there's a 99 Designs contest for a logo to be made for our conference that we're putting on. That were Paint Nerd Reunion. Yes. And it started with the inspiration of using a caricature of my face. And I said, go to Instagram, you can see my face. So all these renderings have come with a caricature of my face. And I realized very quickly, you can't commission your own caricature of your own face. So we've now switched it and it's just going to be like a cartoon character.
Oh, that's awesome, man. I should connect you with the Titan people. I bet you whoever did that logo, man, is a genius. As a funny thing, I was telling my wife, last thing, and then we'll actually get down to business. But I think I told you this story before, but it is hilarious. My wife has the whole rainbow of the shirt. She has a whole drawer full of every color, every edition of the Nick face shirt ever. She wore one to the grocery store, and this young, freckly faced kid behind the meat counter, the deli counter, was like, "Hey, who's that on your shirt?" Because it feels like it should be a famous person, right? It's so random. And he looked at this young, pimply faced kid and said, "That's my husband." And this kid was just like, "Whoa, okay, all right,
That's not weird."
All right, lady, here's your ham. So anyway, awesome. Zach, thank you so much. Honestly, I was going back through it. Facebook is great, but I have too much stuff on Facebook. I was actually trying to go back and try to find the first time that you and I formally connected. Now, my recollection is that I love watching your stuff. What you do is painter porn, basically. And I found it, obviously, because guys like us will just eventually find each other because we do so much on social media. I cannot find the first time that we like formally interacted. My DMs on Instagram and Facebook, they only go back to so far, and I can't look back. So I assume our relationship started like, "Hey, man, love your work. Hey, man, how are you?" One of those. And then we probably just started talking more. Do you have any more recollection of that?
Man, I wish. I'm the last guy to tell you what happened in the past.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you what happened a year ago, 2 years ago. I have no idea how it happened. The first memory of this show I have is of watching you go through your bins on the side of the road next to an exterior. Like you were doing an exterior and you were like on the side of the road, right? There was a sidewalk there and you had your bins out and you were going through them and you had the paint brushes vertical in the thing. And I was sitting there watching that like because my first instinct is like, fuck this guy, screw this guy. Like, because I felt so inferior. I was like, oh my God, this guy's like 10 steps ahead of me. He's got his stuff together. Like it's since as I've done some work on myself, you've become an inspiration to me.
Yeah.
But you know that there's that first thing where like, this guy's doing it better than me. I didn't realize, and it's kind of like what he was saying, where like now we all get together and we all get to get better together because we're sharing stuff.
It's so interesting. Like that is a human thing. I don't think it's specific to master crafts people or the trades or anything else. I really do feel like that's a human thing where initial people are like, most of my interactions online are, when somebody's grumpy, which people thinks it happens all the time. It actually doesn't happen hardly at all. But somebody will be like, "Hey, man, they're just lashing out at it." And I DM him like, "Hey, what's up, dude? Like, hey, how are you? Where are you? How's business? What's up?" And he's like, "Hey, man, like, God, I just having a bad day. Like I was either going to kick my dog or give you a bad comment. I chose bad comment, whatever." And you finally realize like people just want to say, "I can do that too. I see you doing it. I can do that too." And you're like, "Yes, I acknowledge you can do that too." This is sharing. This is a data point, just like you do. This is one singular data point. This is not perfect. This is not the end all and be all. This is not the Wikipedia of painting, but it's like, hey, if you want a sneaky look, I mean, I've done 2 live estimates. Where else can you see another painter do an estimate? Nobody's ever seen another painter do an estimate, really, that wasn't sort of staged. So yeah, man, it's just the data points, which is really cool. And this is a thing that both of us, we've talked before. I wish there was something like this 14 years ago when I started my business, just to get one other data point. Before Facebook and Instagram, I started this business. It's like, God dang, man. So I'm glad that this is here. I'm glad what you're doing is here for people too, for that other data point.
Hey, man, you've been a huge inspiration. I have to say, as a guy that does a weekly live show, I've done 80. I've not done them straight. And the fact that you've done 5 years straight is like I resent the fact I have to do it probably every other week. I'm like, I can't believe I have to do this. Like I got, you know what I mean? So I have so much respect for your ability to like stick to it and just be that like steady Eddie that just like, it's a huge part of what's made you so successful in business too.
Well, thanks a lot, man. God, I was looking at, I've done shows out your way. When I was doing the sort of recollection of all the Ask a Painter shows, this show is the reason I know people like you. I mean, again, organically, we probably would have crossed paths anyway, but this show has been like adrenaline, accelerant fuel thrown on this fire, and it has opened my world to all the people like you, and not just like, hey, I can DM Zach Kenny and ask him a very specific paint question and you get back to me right away. Like, that is a cheat code, Zach Kenny. That is a cheat code in our industry. It has opened the world to thousands of people like you, and you are one of the ones that has left the biggest impression on me. We'll also be doing something very special coming up. What info can you give everybody?
Well, October 16th, 17th, and 18th is going to be the Paint Nerd reunion. So, no, this is the first time anyone's going to hear about this. I am purchasing next week the virtual paint spraying simulator from the PCA Expo.
Yep.
So we're going to have contests to see who's the best paint sprayer, and there's going to be data, no feelings at all.
Yes. Oh, there'll be hurt feelings for sure.
There's going to be hurt feelings. We're going to have a round robin tournament, spraying different objects. Who can get the best consistency, least overspray? We're going to have a master class from Nick Slavik. I'm going to teach a class myself. There's going to be a lot of fun. We're owning the fact that this is educational, but also a lot of networking and fun. And then we're going to have a golf tournament on Monday. Nice. And we're capping it at 50 people. So if you guys are interested, I found out from the venue, like either it's 50 or we have to plan for this huge thing, and it's a whole nother pain in the butt. So yeah, you heard it here first.
I am really looking forward to that. And that's something you and I have been talking about for a while. And thank you for undertaking all of that. That is not a small thing, this event planning and coordinating and getting people together. So that is going to be a very cool event coming up. I really look forward to it. So Zach, any last words before we move on to guest number 3?
Really, I just think it's like, for everybody out there, the follow through that you have shown with this show day in and day out is the type of follow through that makes for successful business. And if people can take away all the little nuggets of painting things, but I like to see the big picture more sometimes. And I think the inspiration I get from Nick Slavik is that consistency of follow through that's lacking in our industry. So anyone out there, keep doing what this guy's doing. He's killing the game.
I'm slowly coming to realize that most of the people that I look up to in other industries and in this industries do a whole bunch of unsexy things really well consistently. And that is not a satisfying answer when you're trying to like do something really cool and grow a business. It's like, that is a very difficult thing to sort of like understand. So I see, Jason Harris is coming on. I'll mute him. There we go. Okay. So yes, thank you for that. Sorry, we had some cross noise in this thing, but Zach, seriously, really looking forward to seeing you again. And I always enjoy our texts and calls and stuff too. So thanks, man.
Congratulations, Nick. Thanks for having me.
Thanks a lot, man. And I say this, but I mean this. Coming from you, it does mean a lot, Zach. Seriously.
Appreciate it.
Have a good Saturday, man.
You too.
All right, here we go. Noah Cantor, ready to rock? Get Noah up here. There he is. Noah, how's it?
Good morning. Going great. Happy to be here. Congrats on 5 years.
Thanks a lot, man. I really appreciate it. And again, just like with Zach, I'm assuming that somehow Ask a Painter brought us together. And again, probably if guys like you and I who post a bunch of content online, we probably would have interacted sooner or later. But really, Ask a Painter is sort of the coming together, the thing that accelerates all these relationships. So I've been having a ton of fun watching what you've been doing. You have been doing a brutally honest, intelligent, introspective look into everything in our business, growing a business, the craftsman trap, everything else. And the content you put out scratches that craftsman itch in me, but it also, there's this super interesting intelligence overlaid onto it. Like, it's a very thoughtful approach to what we do. So I want to thank you for that data point. That is very inspiring to me.
I appreciate that. And, I see Ask a Painter as a big inspiration in that, because it's a similar vein, a similar angle. My idea was, what if I start a little earlier when I'm at like that one in-person stage, just thinking about hiring, and audio only, and really get in the weeds and get really theoretical. So it's just a hair off of what you're doing, but I think it's a hair enough off to be its own entity.
So how cool would it be if there were 20 people doing that same real-time, honest look? Like those data points would be so helpful. Yes. What's interesting is I think I've said this to a lot of people before, but it's one of those things where if you were stupid enough, had enough time to go back and watch every single Ask a Painter, you would see year one, me with about 2 to 5 craftspeople in the field, 100%, estimates in the evening, super early mornings, just like all of us do, slog it out. At the end of year one, year 1.5, so you're probably looking, I can actually find the episode, it's probably somewhere between episode 50 and 70. All my people left me, and that was the proverbial reset there. So basically, there's an unintentional way you can actually watch me go from a complete reset in my business. I was doing it for 10 years. I had a reset, and then all of a sudden this has all happened since then. So you do it in a much more like cataloged, intentional thing there. Somebody would have to basically watch probably 200 episodes to see the arc that I've been on, but it's all there for people who want it.
Yeah, and I am just not as prolific as you. Like I could not do a weekly thing for 5 years. Like I'm on episode 17 at this point, and it's been 2 years.
And we should say too, your podcast, Advice from a Young Tradesman. When I see the notification that there's a new one there, I dive for the phone. Like that is some of the best content that you can possibly get in our industry.
Thank you. I do have a story about how I heard about you. And
here we go.
Because this ties into the podcast origin story. This is my like before and after moment. Like you talk about joining the PCA as your before and after. This is mine. So talk about butterfly effect. Check this out. So when Chris Schenk was hosting the PCA podcast, he had Jeff Winter on. Jeff Winter is vice president of marketing of Sherwin. They were talking about young people in the trades, this and that. 2 hours later, I ended up on the phone in my client's driveway with Jeff Winter being like, is there any interest in more content about this? Because that is when, I can't believe it either. This is when all this stuff was kind of germinating, being like, is there a market for these ideas? Wow. So I'm talking to Jeff Winter, and he's like, have you heard of Nick Slavik? And at that point, I was jaded because I thought the only way to get info in this industry was fighting it out on Paint Talk, which was just about useless. The same thing as trial and error. That was how I did it.
It's the closest thing to a drunken street fight that you can get trying to get information out of people.
And because I was like, because I felt like a silo in my local market, I figured everything was like that. I didn't know there was this amazing network. So, Jeff Winter's like, there are a couple people doing this, man. You got to check out Nick Slavik. In that mindset, I was like, yeah, whatever. And then a few months later, I actually did. And I was like, oh, God, I've been doing it the hard way this entire time. I could have just been watching Ask a Painter. And from then on, everything changed. But that is how that happened.
That is huge because I this last week I asked people to sort of like post some memories and things like that. And a lot of people are very camera shy. So I've been getting tons of DMs where people had that. It's like first contact moment. It's like the first time an alien ship landed and you actually put a face to a name, to a theory. It all comes together. It all focuses. I've had a few of those sort of first contacts in my career. And really, they all started happening about 4 or 5 years ago. I've been doing this for 29 years. And really, I've only made these first contacts in the last bunch of years. You guys, all of these sort of guests on the show today are part of that first contact stuff. Chris Schenk being the first one who sort of like, he opened this door and all of you guys were on the other side of it. I was just like, what's going on here? You can talk to other painters. Like, why didn't I think of that before? And legitimately, your mind opens up. And again, it gets rid of that enemy mindset and that sort of like, there's an economic principle, but basically it's like, and Jason Paris is in the queue. He's probably just screaming at me right now, whatever it is, but it's basically like, there's enough for everybody here, and it's like, we can, if I get a paint, doesn't mean I steal one from you. It's that sort of thing. So it's been a wonderful, wonderful eye-opening experience. And honestly, everything that I do now has basically been a big conglomeration of the brightest minds of the industry and basically picking and stealing from everybody out there, including you. So I do appreciate that.
Yeah. Yeah, no, just like you said, it's that join the industry moment. It's that, oh, there are actually like-minded people moment. Because I think a lot of us are in the position that I was in, that you were in, where you're kind of silos in a broader, like regressively minded town, and there aren't too many like-minded people in your actual community you can get in touch with and actually talk about this stuff with. And that turns out that's not totally true in my local community now that I started seeking it out more, but still mostly true. So breaking out of that mindset and just getting more people just in the conversation, it's I don't know if I would still be doing this trade if that didn't happen.
That's right. This is a lonely pursuit because you don't naturally, like if you own a car dealership, there are car dealer conferences where the Chevy and the Ford guys are all sitting there. They know each other. They know each other's families. It's not an enemy. Like the consumers of Ford and Chevy are way more enemy than the actual, all the auto dealership owners get together. And it's this big thing where of course you would share. Of course you would do this. That's a professionalized industry. And ours is slowly coming online. And honestly, probably within the next 5 or 10 years, there's going to be a huge shift in that sort of thing. And sadly, we got to be the ones with the ox carts to start heading west. But it's fun out here, right? Like this is like blazing new trails. It feels like they're just handing out land and we're standing there like, well, I'll take a section here and a section there. And
yes. Yeah, and I gotta say too, the past year, the 2020, like the business minded, the financial focus was huge for me too. I basically modeled everything in my business that I've changed off of those shows.
Cool.
Huge, night and day.
And yeah, so that was a very intentional effort this last year. This has been the sort of master the basics thing. And what I want to do is show the sexy varnish going on a door. But really, you got to mix in a little, like I've done numerous job costing shows and given away that template for that reason. Because I think like, yes, it's satisfying watching a door, but one of those first contact moments for me is when somebody like Jason Paris shows you industry benchmarks and job costing. And you're just like, oh my God. My whole world is now focused into this one little thing that I can taste and feel and touch. And it's just like, that just brought the mysteries of the universe down to like, oh, it's just that. All right. I guess we'll just do that then, So no, it's been awesome, man. And also we should say, I'm coming to see you soon in a couple of weeks. So second week in June, I think the 6th or the 7th, I'll be flying out to Vermont and we're going to be doing a couple things. What is that, Noah Cantor?
So the first thing is we are going to restore a backcountry shelter on Vermont's Long Trail. So there's a nonprofit organization that maintains the backcountry shelters in the middle of nowhere on the Appalachian Trail and the Long Trail, and they don't have a paint maintenance plan. So I have created an SOP for them, and this is the most scaled down rudimentary form of painting one can do. We are packing out pretty backpacks, walking into the woods and doing a shelter, assuming it's not pouring rain on us. And then you're doing a master's class the next day. So I'm very excited.
So when you even broached the subject, I think it brought up like, hey, Nick, would you ever be Yes.
Yeah.
It
was on Escapaner.
And then you're like, hey, it's also going to be wilderness and we're going to be backpacking. Yeah. Say no more. We're all good here. So yes, I'm actually flying out to Vermont and we are going to backpack stain into the woods and we are going to stain something. So a meeting of somebody I like very much doing something we like very much in the wilderness. Like seriously, that checks a lot of boxes, Noah Cantor.
Doesn't get better. Does not get better.
So looking forward to that. Any last words before we move on to the next guest here, Noah?
No, truly. Thank you so much for what you've done. Like I said, night and day, life before and after discovering the show and joining the industry. So thank you so much for your efforts.
And seriously, from a mind like yours, thank you. That does mean a lot to me. So, and I was told to say that when I do really appreciate a compliment, because I've been told I don't take compliments well. So I recognize it as a compliment. Thank you. It still makes me feel uneasy, but I do know that it's a thank you. Seriously. I do genuinely mean that.
All right. Take care.
Have a good week.
See ya.
All right. Next guest up here. I see him in the queue. We're going Jason Paris. Jason Paris, how are you, my friend?
Well. If it isn't Nicholas, 5-year anniversary, Theodore Slavik.
How we start many of our conversations, Jason Paris.
All of our conversations.
You and I hold family time very sacred. We have very clear lines of this. Right now, the Ask a Painter live show is cutting away a little scoop of family time. you are doing the same. It does mean a lot to me. This is a very special ask, and I thank you for doing that.
Happy to, man.
Yeah. So we've been talking about first contact moments, things like that. I believe that you and I eventually connected through social media because I was doing some stuff on my own house. You started commenting on some posts, and I looked, obviously when you see another Minnesota painter, the first initial reaction is like, oh, there's the enemy. Let's learn more about him. And start looking at the websites and things like that. And pretty soon you were the one who did the very mature thing, was like talking more, getting together. And you were kind of the first one long ago that sort of introduced me to the idea that we're not enemies here. Like, this is all an open community. We're sharing. We all do better when we all do better. And I seriously want to thank you for that.
Yeah, man. I'm glad that ethos is permeating through the cooperation ethos, and residential repaint makes a lot of sense. And yeah, when I first saw you, it was like so many things in life. It was the Google gods that guided my hand. In this case, it was Instagram. And I was like, geez, that guy looks like a real painter, like the real deal. And you were the first one that was kind of proud to be doing what you're doing. And I had never, ever, ever posted anything about being a painting contractor on social media before that. And it was just cool to see. Cool to see you take pride in the trade and do that fun stuff.
No, I appreciate it, man. And honestly, so I've had, again, with first contacts, starting about maybe 5-6 years ago when I got introduced to the PCA, I started meeting real businesses. And again, at that time, I was just like, oh my God, what's this? What's this? You were the one who sort of introduced me to job costing, which is like the basis of.
I remember asking you questions because I thought you were the real deal. And then I found out you were a con artist and a fraud. And you were not alone. I started asking this is when I just started talking to other painting contractors, and I was like, like there's not much behind the veil of I think I can win. And so it was fun to watch you go through that journey, man. It's been a cool thing to walk. Sure. I actually we wrote you a little note here that I wanted to read you.
Oh my God.
So, first of all, how's the audio? Is the wind being weird? I had to go outside because I have 4 kids and they're pooping on the carpet and all crazy stuff is happening.
You sound great, man.
Okay. Nick, happy 5-year anniversary. Nick, your beard is very thick. I often wonder what mysterious product makes your hair so slick. Data plus feelings does not contradict. Watching your journey has been an interesting predict. 5 years of your show has made many an addict. For many observing your business, it's viewed as a yardstick. You're a loudmouth for sure, which draws the skeptics. Just let me know if you ever need help giving that head trash an evict. Your success has not been sneaky, nor a simple card trick. It burns steady and slow, like the best kind of wick. You have opened your arms and made us all part of your clique, an ally in the trade I could not better handpick. Congratulations, man.
Wow. That is very meaningful to me. Thank you. That is, man, especially coming from you, Jason. You've honestly been like one of the best mentors I've ever had in this industry. And the best thing you've ever done is been sort of that guiding light for me, like personally, professionally, family-wise. And really, I cannot tell you how helpful that has been. And one of the best things you do is call out all the head trash, all the BS. One of the coolest things I've ever seen a human do is what you did at a speaking conference we did, where you got up and gave a very entertaining, very informative talk. And somebody came up after, as they do, and they say, Jason, that was amazing. That was so cool. I just love it. And you did one of the coolest things that I've ever seen somebody do. You looked them right in the eyes. You said, what'd you like about it? What was your big takeaway? And then at that, people just are taken aback. You make me
seem like I'm a jerk and aggressive, but I'm just on the spectrum. I don't know how to interact with people.
But
Jen, like, what was interesting? What was it?
it's not a poke move. It's not an alpha move. You genuinely want to know what that person took away, because you take notes on your stuff. And even when you have a lot of comedy in your sort of you call them doctorate classes, but really they're kind of shaky.
You got your master's. I got my doctorate.
I mean, listen, master's classes are refined. It's like a katana sword, just beautifully crafted. But you genuinely keep notes on these things and you want to improve them. And I was like, oh my God, like this guy's genuinely asking these people, he wants to know. And I've never seen anybody do that before. We go through life with all these platitudes like, good job, man. I really like what you did there. And you're actually like, please tell me more. I'd like to know more so I can improve myself. And I was like, oh my God, this guy's intentional. So intentionality is this huge thing I've taken away. If we're going to do something, we're going to do it really well. Otherwise, let's not waste our time.
Yeah, I think that's why we've gotten along so well, is that, that first principle mindset of break it down. What does that mean? How do you transfer it to the next situation, the next scenario? And I think that's why a lot of people, so I think everybody likes you, Nick, except for the haters. And a lot of people look up to you because you share so much. And then the people that are really successful that you look up to and chat to, it's fun to watch you run with stuff. And you just latch on and you make it your own. And so it's been really cool to watch you become like a super critical thinker, first principle reasoning. It's really cool to watch. And I think it's why we get along so well.
No, agreed. And what's really interesting now is that you and I are entering into a very interesting sort of phase of our professional lives, which is you became 6 months ago the chairman of the board of the Painting Contractors Association, and I am the vice chair. And you have about a 2-year stint as our dear leader, and I will be following you up. I'm your right-hand man right now, and I will, unless I completely freak out and disappear into the woods, I will take over after you. And we have a very interesting, somewhere between like 4 and 6 years, to do some big initiative in our entire industry. And it's coming together, and I like this. And nothing has given me more like electric inside my body than this thing. So I'll let you do it. This is your thing. So what are we trying to do to this entire industry?
Yeah, it'll soon be your thing, and I very much look forward to being the Dick Cheney of the painting industry at that point. Yeah, man, I'm super passionate about professionalizing businesses, and I think that's the PCA has done really, really well at establishing world-class events that form collaboration and that ethos of cooperation. The standards have been awesome at defining what a product is. What they're working on right now is how do you deliver that product in a standard way.
Mm-hmm.
But the business side, man, I gotta be honest, the other stuff is really great. I'm glad we're doing it. It's great that we're balanced and serving what's at least perceived as the industry need.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm super passionate about professionalizing companies, and I would love the PCA to, whatever we call it, right? We can call it accreditation, revamp, whatever. I'm not even going to throw stuff out right now, but doing that's something I can really get behind and drive hard. And I sent a video out to the board yesterday because I was so hyped about it. And it's an unlisted video, so no one else can see it. But I think it's going to be a great thing for the industry, professionalization as a whole. We've talked about building professionalization up, but also drawing it in to this trade. And you and I have had some great conversations about that.
Yeah, listen, man, this is it. So you and I, if we were told to somehow make a new Rubik's Cube or develop a new way to plant trees, we could probably grit through it, and we could probably do some first principle reasoning and come up with some solutions, a standard operating procedure, but we wouldn't be passionate about it. You and I genuinely have connected on this. We just see this Wild West cowboy, everybody just gritting through life and then eventually running into problems. And the things that you've done with your business and the things that I am currently doing to mine basically alleviates all that. And it's professionalization. It's not a secret. It's basically doing what all real businesses actually do out there. We're just sort of giving those people that first contact like we got years ago about this stuff.
Yeah, man. I mean, I don't know how to say it more excitedly or more passionately, but yeah, painting is going to go through a professionalization, and someone's going to drive it. And it's not going to be me. It's not going to be you. It's going to be a cohort of people.
Mm-hmm.
but I'm excited to push hard on it. I was elected as the chair for a reason, and this is going to be my big passion project. I'm really excited about it.
Well, listen, both of our firepower is going to be directed to that probably over the next
Unless
half.
I can always, now you and Christian oftentimes try and mutiny me in those meetings, and I have to like get very aggressive, and sometimes I mute you on these Zoom calls because I don't like what you're saying. But assuming that I don't get canned, which is always an option.
Listen, even if you were doing something that we didn't all agree in, you're kind of a doer and a producer. It's kind of hard not to just let you kind of run with stuff because you are effective, man. Like you just get stuff done. It's okay. Awesome, and it's inspiring to the rest of us. So.
Well, it's great to have you as the well, I don't know what to call you right now. I always call you. We like to call you. I forgot to do it with your middle name. I was going to call you the Joe Rogan of the painting industry. And,
so interestingly enough, for years I've called you the Elon Musk of the industry, and we were trying to figure out what I was. And as far as we can tell, it probably the closest thing is the Joe Rogan, just the guy who's like just talks a lot, consistent with a podcast or a live thing, and just feels like just touches a lot of people, right?
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yep. Yeah, that's kind of spiel, but today is really about you, Nick, and what you've done for the last 5 years and the impact you've had on so many people. And I think most people are just blown away by how accessible you are. And I know that was the truth for me. I'd reached out and started interacting here and there. And then, we hit it off and had the cooperation mindset, and it was fun to watch. But I've observed that story over and over and over where people have reached out to you, and it just is mind blowing how accessible you are to people. So you make an impact 1 minute at a time.
I love it, man. Thank you so much for all you've done for me. Thank you for being an advocate of this show. And honestly, it's, Zach mentioned it before. It's amazing that something can be so consistent. It's not if you like it. I mean, we've talked about this before. It's like, if your passion is this, it's not hard. You don't have to for this. You don't have to remind yourself. You don't have to grit through it. And when we align, when we find what our passions are like that, like the thing that we're going to be doing for the next couple of years, man, that's firepower. I like it.
Yeah. Appreciate you putting the plug in. I just say, everyone that's a member of the PCA, appreciate all of you, and buckle up because we're going to produce a lot of value. We're gonna really go hard. So I'm excited.
Oh, it's gonna be fun, man. So again, Jason, thanks for taking family time. This is extra special. It's insanely valuable time. And that poem is one of the most touching things anybody's ever done for me. Thank you.
Absolutely, man. Appreciate it.
All right.
Appreciate you.
Have a good weekend. All right, folks. Thank you so much. We got one other. Let's see. We got one other thing. One of my very favorite people in the industry. One of the people I met even before Jason Paris, just probably right after Chris Shank, was Dustin Zapanzik. And Dustin gave me a very interesting data point. He does insanely high-end, custom new construction in Vancouver, and he runs a very professionalized business. I love the way he thought about it. Like he was one of the ones who initially was sort of like, I sort of felt there was this duality in the trades where you could be good or you could make money. And I didn't find a lot of people who were doing both until I met Dustin Zapanzik. And for those of you who've not met Dustin Zapanzik of Dreamscape Painting, he inspired me very early on. He was like, we're doing the most insanely beautiful year or two long projects, but also fine touches with craft, mastering the craft as well. If you do not know Dustin, I would urge you to connect, not only to watch his Instagram and Facebook feed, but also he's got one of the coolest sense of humors I've ever experienced. His sense of humor gets me like nothing else. And it's dry, it's sarcastic, and I love him for it. And if I can get this video to play, it's really cool. So let me get this going for you.
Hey, Nick. Well, congratulations on 5 years of Ask a Painter. That's quite an accomplishment. Keeping it going for that long, I can think of very few things that I've kept going for 5 years. I do have several kids who've lasted 5+ years, so that's good. And I think that's probably, there's some similarities there, I think, growing pains. I remember at the very beginning, I was one of your early guests, and actually you had messaged me and said, hey, would you think about posting something? You've been one of my earliest guests, and I stung a little bit that was the descriptor chosen, earliest, not best, most fun, most interesting. It was earliest, which I think, is it's a bit of an indication of the early days when the show was struggling, that you were really scraping the bottom with some of your guests, but I still appreciated the, having me on. It was great. And yeah, it's changed a lot. I mean, now you have decent lighting on your show. You got some fancy text thingies and impressive guests. It's been really fun to see it morph and grow and change, and see you got more comfortable with everything. But for reals, I love watching the show, tuning in, hearing you chat about the industry and answering people's questions, and appreciate your positive attitude and everything you're doing for the industry. And I'm super pumped to, for the next 5 years. And maybe if I play my cards right, maybe I'll even get invited back. But I mean, I won't push it. Yeah, congratulations, Nick. Happy 5 years.
Dude, I love that guy, man. We have had this show has connected me with so many awesome people in the industry. One of my favorite, I look forward to the in-person events so much because Facebook and Zoom meetings and Instagram and direct messages and emails are all fine. And I love doing that, but in person is different. It's absolutely just like when people say, hey, are your master's classes going to be online? It's like, it could be, but you miss so much when you don't do it face to face. There is a tangible, legitimate difference in those. There is a difference. I look forward to back before a COVID time when we used to get together. One of the things I look forward to the most was spending time in the city that we're in with Dustin Zapanzik. And now his brother Dan too joined the business too. And those two, I love them. I love their sense of humor, and they truly inspire me, and they give me another data point in the industry. They approach it very differently. I love the way they're crafting everything in the lifestyle. It's just been really fun to watch. So guys, I am going to end the show now with a little, if we can get this thing going too, with a little clip of the first Ask a Painter live show. So let me see if I can pull this up here for you guys. Reload it here for you. Oh, man. Had the show queued up. It looks like it does not want to play for me. Let me see if we can reload. All right. Well, looks like it's not going to play for me, guys, but we will do this. I have included a link to the first ever Ask a Painter live show here. Thank you guys for watching. Seriously, this show has absolutely opened the world to me in our industry. I grew up in a very regressive family paint business that did not have the thinking of the people that I look up to in the industry now. And I personally want to thank you guys for what you do, how you do it, that you interact. And honestly, I get a little self-conscious sometimes because I get so much out of this show. I feel like if we have a ledger, I feel like I give a little, but I take a lot from this, from all the people that sort of interact. My eyes have been open to so many things in this industry, and it's really, really shaped what I do, how I think about family life, how I think about business, how I think about freedom, and all this other stuff. So thank you guys. I am long-winded. I am a loudmouth. I will not be now. Thank you guys for 5 years, 260 episodes every week without missing one. I've done it from the Gulf of Mexico. I've done it from Brazil. I've done it from a float plane in Canada. I've done it from frozen lakes in my spearing shanty, California, Florida, Utah, New York, Vermont, New Hampshire, all over the place. Wisconsin, Chicago, you know them all. So thank you. Seriously.